So YouTube, this is the beginning of my forming video, and I'm going to show you how to measure and lay out your forms in this video. It's going to take me a little bit. It's going to be maybe a little boring, but at least I'll show you how to do it. So follow me. So I started with this pin, and I went over there and I put that pin in, and I measured it at 18 feet. I lined up those two pins with the side of the garage, so we're exactly straight. So 18 feet, and then I put that pin over there, and over there I did two marks on the ground, and I'll show you the two arcs. So there's an arc that runs this way, and there's an arc that runs that way. So I did the 3, 4, 5 method, and I drew an arc and arc, and those two lines is exactly 90 degrees from those two, and that's how I'm going to start my foundation. I have that pin over there, and that pin over there. Here's my red flag. I'm 8 meters from that telephone post. It's the only metric mark that I have. So guys, I did a 3, 4, 5 method, and we made half of the box, and then we did another 3, 4, 5 method to complete the other pin on the other side of the box. And from this square that I have flush from the front of the garage, I'm going to run this wall of the house. This is my wall. That's going to be where my landing is, against my garage. And now we're going to move some pins and adjust towards it. So the yellow pins are my square, and the flags are going to be my wall marking for my footings. So guys, this is my fancy foundation plan. And this wall is the one that I did for line up. Okay, and we're looking down these flags to the wall. So I squared it to my shop because I want both buildings on my land to be the same line. And I've made this wall. So all these flags I have here, so we have a measurement. So 48 and 48. This is a 2 feet gap, but it's easier to square a box 48 by 48 than it is 48 by 46 and a half. So I got my 3, 4, 5 method to make me a square. I leveled that wall to where it's supposed to be, so we're looking down that wall. This would be the 48 foot mark flag. That's the 46 and a half foot flag. That would be my garage wall going that way flag. And then there's another flag for my garage wall at the back, and then the back of my house. And off of this straight line, I build my squares. So I got my house footings. There's 2 more pins there. My little check, 1, 2, and my far side of my house. And then over there is where my garage goes, and it goes from this flag on out to the other flag. So my garage is 26 feet wide by 24 feet deep, and that's unexcavated for the garage. So guys, when we place the forms, I'll kind of do another explanation of how I did my squaring part of it. It's just difficult to understand when it's a couple of flags and some sand. Soon to come. So guys, you saw me carry some boards in the hole. First I'm gonna do is nail some of the corners together. That way I can get my boards to stand up. And I'm gonna start to measure, line up my corners for my footing forms, and go from there. Watch me go. So I run around and I nail some of the corners together just to hold the boards up, and I do all the outside or inside corners that fit, and then from there I'm going to start measuring out the exact placement of the outside or the inside of the footing forms. I made a little mistake. Well, not a mistake, I just didn't dig enough dirt out. I gotta dig this out by hand up to here because I can't really get my shovel in place to dig that little strip out. I'm okay on that side. I got a little bit here and a little fatter piece there to dig out. You know what's much easier? That's quick. Too bad everything isn't like that. So guys, now I'm going to measure my footings from the pins that I've laid out. And of course my footings are 2 feet. So that's the width of my footing. My pin is in the middle, makes sense. Everywhere I measure a foot, then a foot to all the outside edges. And I got some blue brackets that I purchased years ago, and I'm going to use them to hold my footing boards and use them as measuring tools. So basically, that corner that I just laid out, if I can get in there really good, guys? So my boards are 1 foot from 1 foot from that corner pin, and I also did this corner over here, which is hard to see. I have to stand on the other side. That one there where my finger is, somewhere there. So they're all 1 foot, 1 foot. Each board that I have for a corner, so that's a corner and that's a corner, I can slide them in and out like that, so I can make them fit each side. And then if my height is different because of the unevenness of the ground, I'm like plus or minus maybe an inch or so. Phew, she's warm in the good Lord sunshine today. I can when the two boards, and say they sit like this a little bit, I can raise them up to make them level. And then afterwards I'm going to run around with a transit and a sledgehammer, and I'll either tap down the wood into the sand a fraction, or maybe just lift it very carefully with a piece of gravel or something, just to hold it up, just enough to pour the footing boards. So guys, now I finished that corner. I'm heading to this outside corner here, and from there I'll get my measurements in place, like my 1 foot, 1 foot to the corner of the footing, and then I'm going to work my way to the back of the house and do the last 2 squares. And now I work down at that end of the house. So now that's the back of the house. I did the little jog in front just a moment ago. And now we measure our 1 foot from the pin, 1 foot from the pin, 1 foot from the pin, 1 foot from the pin. We set our edges up, we level our boards, tack them. I'll show you how it's done. This is my landing that I'm going to make, and it requires a footing in this location so I can support the wall of this house where the truss load comes from. And then the other wall is going to support the floor of the landing on that side. So that's why there's 2 runs here in a box. And so I got my 2 feet from that corner, and I got my 2 feet from that corner. So I'm just going to make this one a complete board run. Eyeball it. I'm going to pin it with a piece of rebar, on this side, and then I'm going to calculate my 2 feet over so I can get my center box set. Watch me go. And now guys, I'm gonna do the garage wall behind me and the other corner, but you'll only see me do this corner. The fill in the middle kind of doesn't give a good little video. So here we go. I go to that back corner flag that I have. Kind of looks like this flag. This one we lost our flag on it. And I measure 1 foot and then 1 foot, and then I use my bars and I go to that corner. For example, let's say that's a corner. So I measure my 1 foot, 1 foot. I put my 2 bars in. The bars include the 2x8s in their measurement. So in here to here is 2 feet. So, and then I pull it back or forward, and they slide. They slide this way. See? That way I can adjust my end. And now guys, my final step of my footing forming will be running around with some pins and making sure that my lines are straight. So even though you have it all made, the forms sometimes will move when you pour the cement in them. So I pin them every 10 feet. So I'll need, like, I'll pin this corner, and then I'll pin 10 feet down, 10 feet down, 10 feet down in that corner, because I'm 48 feet. So. And my layout's pretty well done. My forming is done. I'm just making sure that when you put concrete in it, they stay where they're supposed to be. So my next step, guys, is I got a little bit of infrastructure to build. I need to run a little conduit so I can run electricity from my well, because I have a submersible pump, into my water pump room. I also want to run another line under there just in case my water line breaks, for whatever might happen in the future. So I'm going to take these lines that you see laying here on the ground. I'm going to go at this corner of the house. I'm actually standing at the corner of the house. And I'm going to run it into the sump pump room. Sorry, underneath the landing part room. I made a boo-boo, guys. I forgot to put my footing right there. Thank God I double-checked when I was running my underground line. So YouTube, here is my piping I'm putting in for the sump pump hole. Gonna put a little tile inside just to make sure there's no water inside for whatever reason. And the other one passes to the outside of the house, and there will be a tile around the entire perimeter of the house, which will feed that sump pump hole, which ain't there yet. And that is my infrastructure. So in case a water line breaks, I can slide one inside that line. I never have to dig or cut anything. Just slide a new line in if something happens. So YouTube, today's pump truck day. We're filling our footing forms. Pump truck set up, concrete trucks coming in the yard. Gonna show you that little process of how to put some cement in there. Okay. There we go. I'll show you how to do that. So YouTube, I just run along with a quick trowel just to make it nice and level. It's only preference. It will all be buried when we do the slab inside on top of it, the wall, and the backfill outside. So YouTube, we're all finished with the pouring. The concrete has been in the form. It's 1 o'clock now. We poured it, we're finished at 9, give or take. Really doesn't take very long for the cement to harden. Water is actually a curing agent in the cement, and I actually don't know how it works, but it gets hard quick. Today is also a really hot day. I think that helps it cure faster. It's probably 40 degrees today. And you're also in a hole. The wind's well above you. And the good Lord sunshine's pretty strong. So our next step is to pull off a few of these form boards. I'm going to do that tomorrow. It's not supposed to be so hot. And I'm going to go lay down under an old tree like an old lazy cat.
So these are to stop the footings from bowing out too far, and it's my job to take them out, so I'll show you how I do that with a handy spoon tire spoon, I guess. And oh boy. Simple as that.
My next job is removing some of these form boards that are holding my footings in place. Cement's cured. You're gonna see me run around, take apart some boards, pull some nails. It's a fun job.